Hello, I'm fed now. I just thought you should be updated. Are you fed as well? Did you guys all manage to get some food? Those lot ate. These ones over here were talking the whole time. But between you, you spoke and you ate. This is good. Time for a few more fun facts by Lavelda. I didn't make them up. They're real facts. But just some interesting new insights. Did you know, I feel like I should have a TV program like this. Did you know that the world's tallest building designed by a woman is in Chicago? Did anybody know that? You do now. Yeah, it's based in Chicago. It's the 82-story Aqua building in Chicago, and it was designed by Janine Gang. Tallest building designed by a female architect. And did you know that 25% of companies in Lithuania are registered here in Vilnius? You do know now. Some of you are a bit surprised by that. Who thought it was higher? Nobody. Who thought it was a lot lower than that and is quite surprised that it's that high? Who doesn't care? You're like, we're here to talk about some more interesting things. So up next, oh, I can see him here. Up next, we're actually going to be taking a little trip to Paris. No, I mean, we're going to be watching through a video link. Don't all going, I've got my passport now, I'm out of here. Lavelda said we're going to Paris. We're kind of going to Paris. Next up with a keynote entitled Paris, City of the World. Since the 17th century, as we've all known, Paris has been one of the major centers for finance, diplomacy, commerce, fashion, of course, gastronomy, I can't say that word right now, and science. And here to talk about diversity and the mega city that is Paris, we have the mayor of Paris, Arnaud Ngatcha. Arnaud Ngatcha. Is he here? Let's see. Dun, 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 through the magic of television. Hold on a minute. I'm just waiting to see you on the bigger screen so that everybody else can see you too. Oh, is this one of these things where you want me to do a little dance or something? Is that what's happened here? I can see you, Arnaud. We're just waiting to... There you are.
Okay.
Over to you.
Hello. Mr. Mayor of Vilnius, dear mayors, dear colleagues, deputy mayors, ladies and gentlemen, it's an honor for me to intervene at the Champion Cities Summit 2023. I would like to thank the Mayor of Vilnius for his invitations and to apologize for my absence among you today, as political obligations have kept me in Paris. As mayors of large cities, as the elected representatives close to our citizens and to the ground, we are fortunate to have a unique vision of the mayor challenges, opportunities, and threats facing our societies. And it is with this view of a mayor that I am making a rather gloomy and worrying assessment of the current situation in Europe and throughout the world. We are indeed facing an extremely worrying situation today. Our world is going through new major crises. In my opinion, the most important we have experienced since the Second World War. First of all, the war that has returned to the European continent with a subsequent humanitarian crisis. Since the beginning of the invasions, cities have been and remain the front line, and I am proud of that. They have been at the heart of the response to welcome families fleeing war, to provide emergency shelter and schooling for children. Tomorrow, cities will again be there to help Ukraine rebuild. But at the same time, we are also going through a particularly dangerous social and economic crisis. And we are the first witnesses to this in the cities. Soaring energy prices linking to the war, but also housing prices are now affecting all major European cities. Inflation is high, food prices are rising and the cost of living is exploding. Added to this is the emerging energy crisis, which is no longer a threat, but a reality with supply disruptions. The bombing of power stations is having the greatest impact of civilians, now deprived of electricity and forced to spend the winter in the dark and without it. And how can we not mention the climate crisis? The summer of 2022 was the hottest of record. No one has been spared and no one will be able to cope on their own with the predictions of scientists that are coming through faster than expected. And this crisis is hitting the most vulnerable, the poorest, those who have contributed the last to the plundering of the earth's precious resources. And it will further undermine our democratic models. At least, we are going through a deep democratic crisis in Europe and in the Western world in general. Back home in France, I am frightened by the growing success of populism linked to the crisis in mentioning. 3 years ago, the OECD published a report highlighting the growing risk of the decline of the middle class, which undermines their support for democracy and the democratic model. Recent elections in France, Sweden, and Italy have already shown that the middle class confidence in the health system, public education, and the rule of law has been largely damaged by cuts in investments in public services. The temptation to vote for populist leaders and parties has never been stronger. As a world city, Paris always stands by the victims of human rights and democracy violations. That is why, in order to honor these commitments, a public space in Paris will be inaugurated this year as a tribute to the Baltic Way. That great popular gathering which on 23 August 1989 saw nearly 2 million Estonians, Latvians, and Lithuanians holding hands to form a 600-kilometer-long human chain, crossing the 3 Baltic countries to express their condemnation of the Soviet regime and their hope for the future. This commemoration is part of the community of the concrete actions we are carrying out in Paris in support of the freedom of peoples, support for the Ukrainians against the Russian invader, but also for the Armenian people against the attacks perpetrated by Azerbaijan. At the least, unfortunately, still too long. Because social justice, sustainable development, and the rule of law are intimately linked, we are committed to promoting participative democracy so that all citizens can take ownership in their city and their living environments. As far as my delegation is concerned, I can mention the Parisian Council of Europeans, a unique body in Europe, composed of 61 members of all ages from all the countries of the European Union, according to the representativeness of each nationality in Paris. This council, created with the support of the European Commission, aims to bring European citizenship to life at local level in Paris and to promote the European values that unite us and are dear to us. In addition to our commitment to the defense of democracy and the promotion of participative democracy, the city of Paris is recognized at the global level for its cutting-edge action in the fight against climate change, for which it was awarded the prize in the Climate Leaders category of the UN Global Climate Action 2021 for its Ambition Climate, Air and Energy Plan, which is currently under review. In addition, in 2021, Paris was one of the 8 European city member cities that were finalists in the Global Mayor Challenge organized by Bloomberg Philanthropies. Vilnius was one of the 20 winning cities in this competition with its project Vilnius as an open school. For Paris, this result was possible thanks to our brand new Climate Academy, a unique Parisian innovation. Also, 7 out of 10 young French people say they are committed to the fight against climate change. Almost half say they do not know how to take concrete actions. The Climate Academy aims to train and certify young people between 9 and 25 years old to lead the ecological transformation of Paris. Still, in this perspective of modernization, innovation, and respect for international climate commitments, Paris wishes to become the city of proximity, where everything necessary can be found within 15 minutes of home. This objective requires rethinking the use of a certain number of existing facilities, such as schoolyards, and imagining new ones, such as citizen kiosks or social clubs, and adapting the local management of certain public services. The concept of the 15-minute city is to defend the idea that we can find everything essential to life close to home: shopping, work, entertainment, culture, sport, healthcare, as all winning at 15 minutes walk or a 5-minute bike ride. It's a modern and universal concept adopted by several other metropolises around the world. For all these reasons, Paris is today a world city. At the forefront, an example of good practices that we share with our partners, notably in the framework of the exclusive training that link us to the city of Rome, but also through friendship and cooperation agreements, the most recent of which was signed in 2022 with the city of Kyiv, whose mayor Vitaly Klitschko I would like to rate. The city of Kiev was also the first city in the world to be granted honorary citizenship by the city of Paris. As mayor, we work every day to make our city ever more welcoming and resilient, places that are livable in the face of climate change and respectful of everyone's differences. But we mayors also need a stable and protective institutional and jurisdictional frameworks which guarantees the full application of the principles of the rule of law and respect for democracy. We are aware of the infinitely precious nature of a democratic regime. My dear friends, I thank you for your attention and I wish you a good continuation of the Champion Cities Summit. May the exchanges be fruitful and an example of the goodwill of the cities to federate around our common democratic values. Thank you very much.
Don't go anywhere yet. I've got some questions for you. You've got me running across the stage in heels.
I'm staying here.
You're still here. Good. Good.
Okay.
I've got a few questions for you. You talked a lot about collaboration and cooperating. Why do you think it's so important for cities to collaborate with each other?
It's important because it's important to learn, of course. And for me, for example, with this cooperation, I can't imagine a new experiences for Paris. And of course, it's good for our politics in Paris too.
And when it comes to, so when I was a kid, my mum used to get really annoyed with me if I hung out with the wrong crowd. You know, like whoever you hang out with and you become similar to them. So it was very important how I picked my friends as a child. And it's a lesson I've taken to this day. But in the realm of cities, if you're collaborating, how does Paris choose their friends? How do you decide what cities to collaborate with?
It depends. It depends. We have only one training. The one training is in Rome. It's a historical training, but we have a different cooperation with a lot of cities around the world. There are different criteria, of course, to choose this city. But this important thing is the values. It's the same values, and for example, at this moment, I'm working with the Indian ambassador in France to develop a partnership with the Indian cities, because for me, it's important for Paris to collaborate with this important country, and for me, it's important to share experiences with cities in India now, because India now it's a very important country around the world.
So really, it's predominantly based on values.
Example too, I working to a partnership with another city in Europe, Hamburg, because we have, of course, a good relationship with German cities. We have an agreement with Berlin since 35 years, and now we want to develop another partnership with a big city in Germany, because the relationship between France and Germany is very important in Europe, and especially at this moment with the war in our continent.
So I love what you said there about it kind of starts with making sure that there's similar sort of values between the cities, and that creates a really great basis.
Yes, because of course human rights, protects the minorities, the equality of women and man and woman, the protection of the minority, like the LGBTQI+, for Paris is very essential. And when you choose cities, it's important to choose cities we defend the same values.
With similar sort of values.
Yes.
One last question for you. There's this little thing called the Olympics I hear is coming to Paris next year. And we've spoken a lot today. We had a whole session around mobility and green cities. And Paris is known, especially with the 15-minute rule, to kind of want to really be quite a green city. But how do you intend to, or how does one maintain that when you go for an event that's as big as the Olympics? Because Europe hosts a lot of things throughout the year. How do you balance your kind of green initiatives with a big event when the world's eyes are all over you?
Of course, for Paris, it's the most important event, and all the team around the mayor Anne Hidalgo prepare this moment for Paris, but not only for Paris, for France, of course, and yes. Anne Hidalgo decided to change the mentality about the circulation, for example. In Paris, now there are a lot of bicycle line in the capital. You know that, no? And for example, she doing this during these witches, during these diplomatic witches, she explained she wants Olympic bicycle lane during the Olympics. It was an example who permitted a new circulation in the city. And of course, too, the transport, the public transport, of course, and for the first time, these Olympic were too in Paris, in the center of Paris, and of course, it will be a possibility for the public to walk in the capital, and yes.
I love that you've said you're integrating specific bus lanes and specific cycle lanes for the Olympics.
Yes.
That the two things don't need to be completely separate. That you can integrate what you were planning to do anyway in and around a large event.
Yes.
Arnaud, thank you so much for joining us. It's a shame you couldn't be here in person.
And I'm very sorry because I was to the mayor this morning for an important meeting because I'm going with soon in the country, and it's why I'm not here.
Well, we appreciate you taking the time to join us via Zoom.
Thank you very
again.
much,
Right.
and thank you for your message in LinkedIn.
You were welcome. The team here helped me out as well.
Thank you.